who's suffering from toxic marriage because of a third party, probably because of your sister-in-laws or brother-in-law or mother-in-law, especially your mother-in-law, either from your husband's side or your wife's side, then this video is for you. If you know either a female or a male, your financial status is different from your partner's own. I mean, there's a clear gap, there's a difference, and the family made it clear to you that they don't want
to accept you.
Please do not force that marriage to happen. If you do maybe do your research and you check the problems of most marriages these days, you find out that most of them got dissolved because of in-law issues. Like, and now we can't tell you that you should stay away from your in-laws because they are part of your marriage, either you like it or not. You understand? And we can't tell you when you want to get married, don't pray to have an in-law. No.
Some people pray like that.
Some people pray that if I want to get married, I don't want my mother-in-law to be alive. And surprisingly, you find out that even father-in-laws can be troublesome. Worse than even mother-in-laws. Because I had a friend in Suleja. She told me that her mother-in-law is very gentle woman, but is the father-in-law that's the problem. I was like, wow. I mean, a lot of people are having issues with mother-in-law. Yours is father-in-law. That's really crazy. And either we like it or not, they are part of the families you're married into. So you can't do away with them. You can't discard them from your life. So the only way you can, live or dwell happily with them in that marriage is for you to know how to tackle them in the marriage. And that is what we will be talking about today with Barrister Zulaiha. So I'm sure you two, you've heard stories about in-laws and how they treat their, I mean, just like what you and I just watched a while ago. I mean, sister-in-law moved her things to her brother's house.
To live there permanently.
Stressing the brother's wife.
Well, not giving her space or privacy.
Anything from what she eats, what she wears, what she drinks, even where she take her bath is a problem.
Because of course, that close proximity, they used to say familiarity brings contempt. That close proximity is bound to bring problems, and that's why everybody needs to give each other space and boundaries. As a marriage counselor, one of the things we see in marital crisis is sometimes the interference of third parties, and these third parties are most likely in-laws. They are usually the first people that want to interfere when there is an issue, and it comes from either party, either telling their family too much about the problems in the marriage.
That is it.
And so when you are getting married, you should first pray for good in-laws and also try to be good yourself, because at the beginning of everything is God. Put God first in everything. You yourself, pray for yourself that your in-laws, even before you meet them, should be good people that will accept you. If they are good, half of your problems are over. Even if your husband is misbehaving, they can call him to order. But if they are the problem, and maybe the spouse is the only person that is good in his or her family, they will influence that marriage negatively. It usually happens like that, that maybe the man who has troublesome family, he himself is actually gentle, but he's too weak to curb their excesses. And so they override him, they misbehave towards his wife. We have heard of sister-in-laws beating up their brothers' wives, mother-in-laws wanting to dictate everything that happens in that house, even the way he and his wife have children. So all these things come about as a result of people not respecting their boundaries. So you pray for good in-laws and then be kind. The Prophet ﷺ told us that the human mind is a slave to kindness. So be kind right from the beginning. Show that you are not coming to take anything away from them or to reduce anything from their family, but you are coming to be a blessing and an addition to their family, which is why I said put God first in everything. Then setting boundaries, of course, comes a close second, because in everything, even your own relationship with your best friend or sister or something, there's a limit that the person is not supposed to cross. So to know that these in-laws, they are part of your spouse's upbringing, part of their lives. But there is a limit. There are some rights that the spouse has on him that they cannot override. And also there's a closeness and intimacy that he or she has with you as a spouse that they cannot come in between it. So that's where boundaries come in. Some people, in a bid to show that they are good, wife material or husband material, they overdo.
Yes.
And I always say, don't start what you cannot finish.
Cannot finish.
Don't start what you cannot finish.
Start what you cannot
If you are not
finish.
the type that can host your in-laws every day and cook for them 3-course meal and all that, don't even start it. So be kind, don't overdo things. Yes. Just respectfully show your boundaries.
You know, you made a statement a while ago. You said over familiarity and all that. You know, like a clip I watched, the girl was like, she said she was the one that dropped out of school for the brother to be able to go to school and get to where he is today. So that is why she had moved to the house. That according to her, the brother, her destiny is with her brother. She gave her brother her destiny. So whatever the brother is getting now is her destiny. So anytime she threatens, I will collect my destiny. I will collect my destiny from you.
I wonder if she's not planning to have a life of her own. So you're not going to do any other thing again because you sacrificed for your brother. It means that he and his spouse will continue to pay you back for eternity, which is actually not possible. We need to know, even as our brother was maybe our closest person throughout our lives, when he gets married, you need to know that you have boundaries too. And whether it's your sister or your son or whatever it is, you need to know that there's a limit to every relationship.
And this usually happens when you marry a mama's boy. I don't know if you're a mama's boy out there. Forgive me, but I have to say this. You need to train your mind to be a man of your own, to be able to, you know, handle your family. Fine, we're not saying your extended family or the parents, the people that brought you up to this life, should be treated less than your own immediate family. No. Even in the Quran, it says that your parents' right over you is different from your wife's right over you. Now, because you've not trained your mind to be that mature, or because you allow your parents to, should I use that word? Allow your parents to control you.
Even as a man.
Even as a man. Even if your parents fail to understand that you are a man of your own, then you should have a mind of your own. Tell yourself that this is your family. Even in the book, it says that your immediate family first, before your extended family. Am I right, sister?
Yes. So another thing is, for a man that has grown up to become an adult and is ready to take a wife, must know that he has to be independent. It is compulsory that he has to be independent. Just the way sometimes you don't allow your wife or children to exert control over you, so that you cannot take a decision as the man of the house. You are the decision maker. So also you should be able to allow other people, even your own mother or sisters, or to know that you are the authority here. This is your family.
Yes.
This is your family. They have theirs. But for you, as a man, you are the head of a family. You are the ultimate decision maker. It isn't somebody that should be influencing you. There are some men also that allow friends or siblings to influence them. It just shows that you are a weak person.
Yes.
If whatever it is that you are doing that affects your wife and children is coming from what another person has told you to do, then it means that you are a weak person, and that's not supposed to be the case for a man that is now an adult, that is ready to have a wife and children. And for everybody generally going into marriage, if you need to live with in-laws for one reason or the other, just like the example we're giving of a sister-in-law living, then in such a case you have to know how to navigate it.
Yes.
It's very difficult to live in the same house with somebody, even your own twin sister. There are some times that you will clash. So when you have to live with in-laws, you have to have a lot of diplomacy. You have to have a lot of wisdom on how to navigate it. Avoid any physical altercation. There are sometimes the arguments may come up and it may lead to people exchanging words. As much as possible, try to avoid having any physical confrontation, because it never ends well. It's a story that will never end. That your in-laws will continue to use against you, that, oh, she slapped her brother's sister, her husband's sister, or she slapped somebody that is prominent in her. You know, those kind of stories don't ever end for your reputation as a wife. So you should also have a resilient spirit. Yes, things will happen, but along the line, you will be able to overcome it with the way you behave, with the way you show that your own character to be. Don't allow people to influence you to become a different person.
Yes.
Know that in-laws, the relationship with them is just like the relationship with other people. There are limits and there are extent that you ought to go to.
Yes.
And then you may be unlucky to also have nosy in-laws. There are some in-laws that don't mind their business.
Thank you.
They don't mind their business. So they try to put their nose into they want to know every single detail. They are fishing for information from you that they can later use. Or because they live with you, they want to be the broadcaster of what is happening here to the village or to the other extended family and say, oh, in my brother's house this happened or that happened. That kind of person, you have to know your way around them to create boundaries and not to allow them to know every detail of what goes on in the house.
And especially if maybe if they are the ones that influenced that marriage, that made that marriage to happen. Maybe a mother-in-law, a brother, or a father-in-law sees a girl and likes the girl and then arrange the girl for their son. And then they want to use the opportunity to want to pry in their every affairs. Whatever they do, they want to know what happens in the house, how the daughter eats, how their wife eats, how the wife treats their husband, everything, just because you are the one that's connected, that made that marriage to happen, that arranged that marriage. Even if you do that, your son is mature enough to handle his affairs. I mean, because of course, sister, nobody will want to marry into a family where she doesn't have security, or even he too doesn't have security. Because of course, as we're seeing it, even though it's more rampant from the wife's side, the wives are the ones always complaining of in-laws. Surprisingly, even the men too face in-law issues.
Yes, I've had a man tell me that his mother-in-law is the greatest problem of their marriage, because she just doesn't like she didn't like him from day one, so she's just doing everything possible to show that marriage doesn't end. And sometimes, just like you said, because the parents or the family member are the one that arranged the marriage, they think that, they expect that you that we brought to marry our brother or sister, now you must tell us everything that goes on. You must allow us to make decisions in this marriage. You must inform us before you could do anything. But two people that are married deserve their space, deserve their privacy. So,
yeah, sorry, you mentioned something earlier. Let me quickly point that out before I forget. Sorry, you said when you're doing something, if you know that you cannot end what you start, don't even start it at all. Now, somebody actually narrated to me that her mother-in-law arranged the marriage between she and her husband, and then as a daughter-in-law, the good daughter-in-law that she is, anytime she goes to visit the mother-in-law, of course she will want to prepare very nice meal, dish it with enough meat and beef and all that, garnish it to take to the woman, and she'll eat it, even though she knows that in their own house they don't really get that kind of food to eat, because of course she said, she tells her that okay, me, I cannot afford, I don't get this kind of food you're eating, So one particular day, one of the festive periods, she was not able to prepare food to take to that woman. The woman called her on phone. So Salah came, we celebrated Salah. You didn't even bother to even cook and bring for me.
As you usually do.
Even when she even tried to explain to Juma that they had nothing at that period to eat, they had to manage. She didn't want to hear that you didn't even bother. It's not like I don't have anything to cook in my household, but I think it's a tradition. She made it a tradition. She liked to make it a tradition that yes, you must cook and bring. And
she was only doing it
in those two, because I was going. They want to know. Let's say you don't go to people's house empty-handed, and that was what she went. But no,
it has become
it became a problem. It became a problem. If not that she was able to handle it, the woman actually took it personal, and really she got disappointed. But that is the thing. Don't start what you can't finish. But should we now start telling people that as a daughter-in-law, whenever you're going to your in-laws' house, don't cook. No, you go empty-handed.
You do it, but don't make it look as if I must do this all the time. For being generous, like I was telling you about, where the Prophet ﷺ said the human mind is a slave to kindness. If you are kind to them, they will also appreciate your kindness. But in this case, this person has taken it now as her right.
Yes. As her right.
So you must do this for me every day. Maybe still try. Maybe not exactly the elaborate food you used to cook before, maybe just fruits or everything. It's just to pacify them, because even though they are your in-laws, they are also like your own parents.
Yes.
So the kind of regard you give to them. So for another thing is the issue of sometimes when there's too much familiarity for you, the wife, to start feeling as if you can interfere in all of their family affairs, and then one day your spouse just tells you, please mind your business. We need to be careful too the way we treat our in-laws, in terms of always wanting to know the details of everything.
Yes.
I've heard somebody say that because she had been involved right from day one in issues concerning her in-laws. Now they expect that if something happens, she's supposed to call or come to the village or track, or if she doesn't ask, they'll be like, didn't you know that so and so person's son did this and did that and did that? I think there has to be limits sometimes.
Yes.
We need to learn also to mind our business, because it can get to a point where your spouse starts to feel as if, why are you trying so much to enter everything that is happening? In everything, there are boundaries. We try our best, be with good adapt, behave in the best possible manner, but let's not always overdo things. Sometimes we mix up the lines, and that's where the conflict usually comes from. People start to take some things as their own rights when it's not actually supposed to be.
Yeah. Did you mention earlier that you don't take every issues in the house to tell maybe your mother or your father, my wife did this, so my husband did this, so that too also can bring problem. I mean, couples should learn how to handle their issues, discuss it, sit and talk about it. This is what you did this to me, you did this to me, I don't like it. Let it end there, settle it and end it there. Because involving third party, because it happened to someone, and the father had to call and say, come. It's not everything you come to the house and come and tell your mother. Because if your mother wants to, interfere in this issue now, your wife will feel she's supporting you, which is not so sure. She might not have the right sense to want to judge it, judge the problem between both of you. But if you as a man could sit your husband, your wife down and like, okay, you did this to me, I don't like it, settled it amicably, and life goes on.
Yes.
And also, I saw somewhere that, okay, the best way also to treat your in-law too is, of course, they're always coming to your house. And if you're the type that don't like your in-laws to come visiting all the time, who doesn't want like a fine thing? Maybe where they're staying maybe in the village or the town they're staying is not as fine as when they come to visit. Don't see that a luxury to, If you are capable and if you are able and you figure out that that's actually is the comfort of that home that they like, that they're after. If you have the money, make sure too that you fix wherever they are coming from. Yes. So that they won't come and start feeling like, I don't want to go back. Fix where they are staying. Make it look as fine as yours if you have the capability to do that. And you see, it might just lessen their frequent visit to your house.
One of the things that causes hatred is when the siblings of a man feel as if, look at where we are staying in a very wretched place, and he we were the ones that trained him. His wife that came from nowhere, she's the one enjoying all that luxury. His money is not touching us. So we really need to be generous to our extended families. If you are able to make them feel very comfortable where they are, if you know that you are not the type that likes them to come and intrude on your privacy and to live with your nuclear family, then you need to make sure that wherever your family is, they are doing very well there. So some of the mistakes that people make sometimes is taking every little, sometimes whatever happens between you and your in-laws, reporting all the time. There have been cases where the husband doesn't know how to decide because the wife always says the sister-in-law did this, the sister-in-law always says your wife did this. So it's not everything that you report. If you are living with them, some things can happen. If it's a minor thing, you can choose to overlook it. Because if you keep on reporting to your husband or your spouse every time that your sister or your brother did this, after some time, it may start to look as if you want to separate him from his family or you're just trying to cause problem. Also, not drawing boundaries, not saying your true intentions. You give them the wrong impression, and then later you start to complain that you are tired of them and things like that. Also, try to reframe some of the things you see happening, because you are coming from two different backgrounds. You may see them, maybe their personalities are different from you, or maybe they are noisy people. Maybe in their own place, any small occasion, they'll be gathered together and talk about everybody and make observations and comment on your house and do this and do that. And in your own place, you people are quiet people. You need to reframe it. Don't see it as intrusion or that they are disturbing your life. Or just try to choose to pray. Okay, maybe for them, togetherness like this is paramount to them. So let me just enjoy it for the few days. Maybe you are doing a naming ceremony and they come to your house. Just look at it that, okay, they love being together in their family. So you reframe and try to choose to see things in a positive light. No matter how painful it is to you now.
And another thing, again, that really has this in-law issues, when you allow, or probably when a rich man marries a poor man's daughter, or a poor girl marrying a rich man's daughter, and then because their brother, they are from a rich background, the girl is poor, they want to humiliate the girl, or because the boy, it doesn't have money, he's poor, and the girl is rich, from a rich background, they want to humiliate the husband to love the wife, that this poor power, you like
coming
that,
to our family.
coming to our family, gold digger, and all that. The thing is, if you know, even as a female or as a male, if you know that you are marrying from a family where they don't accept your financial status, if you can, please don't even start that marriage. Avoid it. Yeah. Because of course you don't expect peace.
A lot of problems that even come after marriage was already showing before the marriage. Yes. Acceptability issues.
Yes.
You already know that you are not compatible. For instance, a guy that has only a secondary school education is going to marry a PhD holder who are family, they are not accepting you, they are not happy with that choice. And then you want to force it. No doubt you are going to have problem with those in-laws that will last the whole length of the marriage, except if God helps.
Because what can you do?
So sometimes compatibility should be looked at before the marriage. Don't force it. This issue of in-laws is a major part of marriage that we should try as much as possible to navigate it peacefully as possible. And we pray may Allah help everybody in their marriages.
Yes. If you are one of those going through in-laws problem, please, I hope this video meets you all and you know how to, tackle the situation. And please, as you watch this video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel as well. And most importantly, if you have any observation or anything at all you need to drop concerning what we just discussed now, please feel free to drop it at the comment section of this video. See you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.